Oh, it must be Wednesday. Must be Wednesday because I'm hanging out with the proud papa. Proud papa. Proud dad. The one and only, the first, the original Coach Carter. I'm Charles Morse, where we come to you every Wednesday at 11 p.m. right here at Youth Central Sports. And how is the proud papa doing?
Doing really well tonight. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I know there's a lot of cooking going on tonight. These kitchens are probably smelling really, really good right about now. So wishing everybody a happy, we'll want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. But tonight we're glad you're with us. All is well here, a little cold, but that's okay. That's what makes it fun.
All right, definitely want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And I also, last week and well as this week, prayers goes out for those that are dealing with the fires on the West Coast. And also, I like to say, because of this time of the year, the suicide rate goes up. There's a lot of people out there that are feeling lonely. There's a lot of people out there that have lost that connection or whatever has happened in life. So we also want to extend prayers to those who are dealing with the holidays blues as well.
Yes.
So prayers and for those that are giving up time, for those who are at places that serving people and so on and so forth. So we want to say thank you for your service as well. And thank you for this time of the year. As they say, the holiday spirit. So blessings to everyone as we are looking forward to a Thanksgiving. And you said, what is the weather like there in Tennessee?
It's 30 degrees right now.
Okay. And tomorrow, man, it is going to be like crazy on the East Coast. I mean, up there in Philadelphia, New York, I think the Macy's Thanksgiving parade is supposed to be about 25 degrees. So they're going to have to bundle up there. It's
Yeah,
going to be crazy.
that's what makes the parade really nice, though, because it's nice cold weather. They've been blessed not to have any snow in a while, so for that parade. So, but that's the right weather for it. You know, I love seeing them all bundled up out there enjoying themselves, looking at the floats and the things that go on with that parade. What a tradition!
Now, for a period of I'll say about 10 years, Vince, I used to leave the day after Christmas for about 10, 11 years. For 10, 11 years, I used to leave the day after Christmas and go up to New York and come back a couple of days after New Year's. And
Right.
a couple of times I've tried to fight through the traffic to see the ball drop, you know. But even though it was never about the cold weather, but even though there's times where I have been there and it's been like really cold, but it's the crowd, man. It is so crowded, and you have to get there like early. And there's times when I've been there, and let's just say it's like 6 o'clock in the evening. So you're fighting the crowd. You find a place comfortable, and it gets crazier and crazier. So around about like 8 o'clock, you just say, "Man, come on, let's go home."
You have to really prepare for that experience. I commend those people who actually get those good spots, knowing that they have to get out there early to do that. Sometimes they've been out there 12 hours
Yeah,
before that even took place,
and then
both for the drop
and
of the ball and for the parade.
yeah, and then Vince, let me tell you something. I've gotten there about maybe 12 o'clock in the daytime. This is like 12 o'clock noon, and you still blocks away from where the
Right.
ball is dropping. That's how early and that's how crowded it is for people to
Yeah.
just come out to see that ball drop. And I'm still
Just
saying you blocks away still. It is 12 noon.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's even more difficult now with all of the recent terror activity and bombing. Now they've cordoned off a whole lot of that area, so it's
Right.
going to be even more difficult to get to see that. It's going to be less space available now, but still a grand event. I have not had that experience other than watching it on TV. Have planned to be in New York many times, unable to make it, but I can only imagine. I talked to so many people who've been there. To your experience, just being in it, just being able to see it blocks away was exciting. So I can only imagine what it was like to actually be there.
Now, you know what? I can say this, Vince. There's no other place in the world like New York City. There's no,
Yeah, New York is New
it-
York is in fact New York.
as a matter of fact, I can remember an old Bill Cosby joke from back in the day. And the Bill
Hmm.
Cosby joke was that was one place that you can ride the subway and get a free show,
Oh
absolutely
yeah,
free, and see
absolutely.
everything from A to
Now
Z, and that's no lie.
I've had that experience. Now that experience I've had. I have had that experience. I rode the subway from one stop to another because I couldn't get off. I just couldn't believe the stuff I was seeing for free. So I
Yeah.
said, I'm just gonna ride. I just rode up and down the line all day. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. I concur on that 100%.
I never will forget that we gonna talk about sports in a minute, but I never will forget sitting on the train. The guy came in and he said, "Excuse me, I need everybody attention right now, please. I'm hungry. I need some money, and I need for y'all to give me some money right now."
Hey, did he get the money?
Somebody gave him some money.
I tell you, it'll happen. You just have to be a little patient. It will take. New Yorkers will take care of you. They're gonna laugh at you for a few minutes. They're gonna look at you funny, but they will take care of you.
Man, you see some of you. Man, I got some stories that I can tell you
It's
that
an
I've seen
experience. It is an experience.
at at Penn Station on the train.
Yes. Yes.
When I was in
Yeah.
Boston, I was going to school in Boston. Every other weekend, I would go to New York and Jersey because
Mhm.
I knew somebody who worked for Amtrak, so I got to ride the train for free. So from Boston, which was a 4 hour trip, on the train every other weekend. And man, some of those trips, man, I can tell you, I had one guy, and you know when you're young, you're young and you do stuff. And so there
Sure.
was a guy that was trying to ride the train for free, right? So I had my stuff, and it covered 2 seats. And the guy said, "Hey, can you hide me?" I was like, "Yeah, I guess I can hide you." So he hid under my stuff in my coat in my bag. So when the conductor came around, because you put the ticket on your
Right.
on the back of you. So he just come and he clip your ticket. So he came by, he clip, and he kept walking into the other train. So then, the guy got up. He said, "Thank you, man. Thank you, man. If anybody try to do anything to you, I'll kill them, man. I'll kill them for you." I was like, "Okay." Like, we good. Now you need, I want to say to him, now you need to go and go wherever you got to go. I've done what I'm supposed to
Go ahead
do.
and meet your
We
destination.
good.
Yeah, go meet your destination.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
good
yeah,
here.
yeah. I was like, whoo. I'll kill him, man. I'll kill him. It's like, okay.
It's an experience. I can tell you that. It is an experience. It's a different experience at that too.
Woo. But anyway, how your basketball team doing?
Well, right now we're 3-0.
Okay.
Off to a pretty good start. Very happy with what we're seeing so far. But early in the season, long way to go. A lot of things we need to take care of. Got a big test this weekend. Got a holiday tournament on Friday and Saturday. Two different styles of play on between the two teams. So it'll be a good test for us. A good time for us to kind of take a good look at us before we get into our district play, which will start next week, as a matter of fact. So these two games are important for us. We want to win them, of course, but it'd be great to see how we look. So we're real happy right now. But long season, a lot of things to get correct. But we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Now, I sent you a video. Did you see the video that I sent you?
Yes.
And so I want to make reference to what we talked about last week because I did get some feedback. I even
Hmm.
talked to
Hmm.
my. It was funny because I'm cleaning out stuff, Vince. I'm
Right.
cleaning out. So I'm taking stuff out of the attic. So if you walk in my house right now, it's stuff everywhere because I made a promise to myself. I'm throwing away stuff.
Right.
I said I'm gonna do this. So I
Hmm.
I found my notebook from 10th grade. And I know my 11th grade notebook is up there somewhere too, because I know I still have that, and my 12th grade. So all of my work from 10th grade, it was my notebook was there. So I called up my old coach, who was my history teacher, and so I told him about the story. I told him, and also asked him about the teaching thing because he teacher for well over 30 plus years, and he recently retired a few
Mhm.
years ago. But I just wanted to thank you personally for your insight from last week's show and talk about diversity, equality, and the challenges that we face, and noted that being strong-minded and understanding and being grounded, that somebody can't take you there, but we were trying to give scenarios where sometimes the pressure and the frustration, the racism and all the things that goes into our lifestyle and who we are in this country now can be overbearing sometimes. But
Yeah.
I felt that you really gave some real good insight last week and was very informative, and not that that everybody would know that we're talking about, but the information that we gave was about the 1968, Olympics, and the Australian who really gave them the gloves and also took part that nobody ever talk about. And you
Right.
probably got more of an insight watching that video than what I tried to explain.
Right.
But
Right.
he, the guy's a hero and nobody knows about it,
Right.
you know.
Right. Well,
But
that goes to one of those situations that we talk about. I talk about a lot about the beginning and the end and the dash in between. What did you do while you were here? It will not always be recorded. And one of the sayings I live by: what do you do when nobody's watching? Who are you when nobody's watching to record it, to put it into a category to celebrate you? What are you doing just because it's who you are and what you believe? And I think this is a clear case of a man who was committed to to a cause that no one knew he was committed to. I don't even know if he knew he was committed to it until he actually made the acts himself and lived his life believing that, doing that, and never being recognized for it
it's
until
his
and then
character,
posthumous. Yeah,
his
just a matter
character,
of his character, his belief. So
right?
uh, unique all by itself.
Hmm.
And I think I've had the pleasure of meeting. I really know that I feel I've met some people who are doing nothing to that grand of effect, but the idea of I just think it's right because I know it's right, and I'm going to do it because it's right, not because somebody recognizes me. A lot of times these people go unrecognized. Here's a guy who spent years and no one knew. No one knew, and had not been for the information that you just I wouldn't have known.
Right.
And I consider myself somewhat of a sports historian. Never
Right.
knew about the guy.
Well, the reason why I said it was because my history teacher said, "Man, you're teaching me something that I didn't know." And so
Yeah.
when because he's a history buff, because I'm going to have him come on the journey because he got some stuff in history that would just blow your mind. And then because when he finished teaching where I went to school, he ended up retiring at Reebok. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, about Rebald,
Jacksonville. Yeah.
Rebald and Reigns, blah blah blah, Jackson, Ed White, Terry Parker, and Andrew Jackson. But coming from Jacksonville, and he said something and just to show in what we're talking about when we're dealing with this kind of stuff when it comes to sports and all of this, when he said that some of the students would come to him and say, Coach Lee, Mr. Lee, how come the white teachers aren't teaching us about what you're teaching us when it's there in the book? And that when they talk about Africa and where life began and all of that, and the history of the artifacts that they found and all of that. But this, and he was trying to say, it's just sad, even when the book said you're still dealing with the racism of something that is truth, that whatever that is, and not to get off on that, but when he said, well, you teaching me something, and he was sharing some stuff, and he was just, because what we was talking about, this Australian guy was there to help these two black men because he understood, and like you said, I would like to think he was a spiritually led person. I think he would
Mm-hmm.
have to be, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. And then this is was it Tommy Lee and John Carlos back when they won at the Olympics, and he was the third guy on the podium. And just to kind of clarify for some of our audience, and I don't think anybody thought anything about this guy other than the fact that he came in third place,
No, second
not
place,
knowing
second place, second place. He came in
second
second.
place. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
he
silver,
came in
silver. He
second
got the
place.
silver medal.
no one knew what his contribution was other than he was a silver medalist. So
Right.
um, again, sport in itself, there's so many stories that some we don't even know about yet, but many that have been told that evolve around sport that really reflects life as we want it to be. Because I think when we get to sport, we just look at sport as being sport. It's about the competition. It's about win lose. It's not about who that other guy is per se, as much as he is my teammate. And that's the essence of what we were talking about in this country as a whole. That's what it was supposed to be about. And I think sport is one of the few places where you see that. Not about who, it's about what can you contribute to the outcome of what we're trying to get done. That's what I love about sport.
Right. And to this day, the race he ran back in 1968, he still holds the record
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
Australia. He was a silver medalist in the in the 200. And his record still stands to this day.
Right.
Right. So,
Yeah.
and I think he died in 2006. I think he died in 2006 or seven. And actually 2006. It wasn't until 2007 that they acknowledged him.
Mm-hmm.
They had to wait till after he died, because they
Well,
banished the man. You know.
yeah, and I think one of the things that really stands out to me is he had an opportunity to recant his commitment, to say to others what would make them feel comfortable, and go on and live his life. And he still chose, after there was no limelight, no reporting, nobody to really care about the situation, to say, no, I stand by what I did. And that's remarkable. That's what
Yeah,
the type
yeah,
of
and that was
commitment that
years
we're
later.
looking
That
for.
was years later,
Yeah,
and he
years.
still
I
stood his
mean, he
ground. You
stood
know.
his ground. He believed what he believed. And I think that's part of what we're really trying to accomplish today, is to try to get on a page where we can all believe the same thing and be committed to it, not just have a narrative regarding it, but really be committed to it.
No, and now I was teasing you at the beginning of the show, and I was calling you a proud papa. I was calling you a proud papa because your son scored 20. He has scored 25,000 points in the NBA. And
Yeah.
the funny thing, because I always teased you, because a few years ago when we was doing the show, and I said to you, your son is going to be a Hall of Famer, and you was kind of like, uh, uh,
Yeah. Well,
like no, your son's going to be a
yeah.
Hall of Famer, and
Yeah. It appears as though you may be right. Um, but quite an accomplishment for him. I'm very proud of his accomplishment. Very proud of him. But to score 25,000 points, he did it tonight. A game against Toronto where he first started his career.
wow,
14 points tonight. 25,000 on a dunk. Um, Makes him the 22nd player to reach that milestone. That's quite an accomplishment.
yes.
That's amazing. I mean, and that's absolutely amazing, and just so proud of him. And he's playing at a level of play that that speaks to his senior citizenship, if you will. He's still contributing and doing well, and I'm just excited as all get out those.
No, now you know what was funny? I heard some guys, and I'm talking sports announcers on the sports.
Mm-hmm.
I don't forgot what sports show it was, but last week they were showing some highlights from Atlanta, and somebody said something about Atlanta, and then they said, "Well, here's Vince Carter. He's the best player on the team at 41 years old." So,
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I would say that without a doubt, he's the most experienced player
right,
on the
but that
without a doubt.
But that comment that they made was actually saying that how well he's been playing, and that's what
Yeah,
they were saying.
he actually has been playing well. He's scoring double digits. He's had I think his average right now would be close to double digit numbers, which is pretty good for a guy his age and the type of team that he's playing on. He's really contributing. I like his boxes. He has some steals and rebounds and things like that, which really are major contributors that nobody really talks about when you evaluate a ball game. So again, happy for him, really excited for him because he's having fun. He's doing
Okay.
something that he's enjoyed and they enjoy having him. And I just, what can I say? I mean, his dream has come true and he's living it out to the fullest of it all. And I'm so excited for him.
All right, great. Well, listen, I mean, it was like I couldn't wait to talk to you about this, Reggie. There was a couple of things. It was kind of like I was sitting around the other day, and my mouth was going like, blah, 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 blah. I got to talk with Vince, I got to talk with Vince, because I just was like, when they started, when Duke played the Kentucky game, and then they started
Hmm.
talking like Duke was going to like they started talking about, well, what would happen if Duke played Cleveland. I was like, slow your roll, just slow your roll,
Yeah.
man, just slow
It,
your roll. I mean, Duke is good, but they was trying to put them on this pedestal, like they had already given them the number one seed
well,
after
they did.
March, after March.
Well, yeah, yeah, after March, yeah, and and I, I understand news. I understand news cycles and stuff to create excitement, but that was so ridiculous to say that after one basketball game, and then they went out against the next team, I think against Army, and they didn't they won the game, but they didn't blow them out like they did Kentucky, and then they come back here, they play another game, they do all right. Last night they had a 6 point win, and they possibly could have lost that game, and then they
Right,
come back
Auburn.
tonight and lose. It's basketball. It's too early
Right,
to anoint anyone. That's the one thing I dislike about the sport community. We anoint people way too early. Can you say that? Can you say they came out very impressively? Yes, you can absolutely say that. Can you say that perhaps they deserve to be a early number one team? I think you could say that. But now, what are you going to do? They lost. So what are you going to do with them now? Virginia's having a great night tonight. Gonzaga looked good in winning that game. So it was way, 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 way too early to do that. And that's, I struggle with that because, I mean, let's give them credit. They played well. They beat a good team. Kentucky came back and won. I think they played tonight, last night against Winthrop, and they had a good outing. It's too early. It's way too
yeah,
early because they haven't met the cream of the crop yet.
right.
They got a long way to go.
Now it's funny because I was looking, and I think this coming weekend. Now, my best friend that I grew up with, we played ball together. He was a great athlete, and he lives up in Kentucky. So
Hmm.
I always call him when that Kentucky Louisville game is about to go off. And man, he said
Hmm.
everything shuts down. He said there's
Yep.
nothing more important in the
Right.
state of Kentucky than basketball.
Hmm.
And he said they are
Right. That is
just like
correct.
crazy. So when those two
Hmm.
meet, it's like these two big mountains bumping heads, and just people just go crazy. So I got to call him, and because he has more of an insight because he watches them and kind of knows the inside scoop on what's going on, about what's being talked about in the town and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to see, because Louisville is not ranked, and then who's
No,
not there anymore. So
they
it'll be
they
interesting to
but
see how Louisville will do, this season.
they're playing they're playing kind of basketball that will keep them in the middle of things, but they're not highly talented. But they had a I think they got beat tonight if I'm not mistaken. So they're having a rebuilding year. They're having some troubles there, and they're going to have to recover from that. And it's going to take a minute for that to happen. And everybody might as well just relax and just enjoy the ride. Kentucky, on the other hand, I think again he's got a very talented group of kids. They just got outmatched when Duke down. They really just got the best of them. Now, do I think they'll get better throughout the season? Yes, I think they will. Do I think Duke will recover from their loss tonight? Yes, they will. But the one thing I keep reminding everyone is that all these teams are going to get, some of these teams are going to get better and better. Your top echelon teams in that top 10 or that top 20, they're going to get better each week also. So it's going to be competitive. That's the one thing I have my favorite teams, but I just like competitive basketball, and I think that's what you're going to see as it gets tighter and tighter. With those freshmen, they're going to run into some basketball they haven't seen, which is kind of what they saw today. The pressure of it all, being a high profile team. That's what Calipari said about kids coming to Kentucky. You're on stage every night. If you can't handle that, this is not the place to be. It's a Final Four every night because everybody's coming after you. You got a target on your back. That's what Duke's going to face now. I think the key challenge for K and his guys right now is how will they recover from this loss.
Did you
It's early.
see
It's an
where?
early loss.
No, no, no. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying it's an early loss, so it's a chance to see how well they recover. This is where some coaching is going to come in and some maturity that they're going to have to pass along to those kids. Like you got to let this go off your back and go on the next game.
Okay. Did you see that the number one ESPN number one recruit signed has committed to Memphis?
Yes, and that was not unexpected. He really, I think he was originally going to Kentucky or had considered going to Kentucky, but has decided to go and play with Penny in
Right.
Memphis. I'm really not too surprised about it because if I'm not mistaken, if I got my facts right, he's played in the AAU system that Penny was once involved in. So they kind of had some connection to that. I believe that's correct. But nice choice, good for Penny, early recruit, could help him out in the rest of his recruiting. They're having some interesting time. They're excited about Penny being there in Memphis. And I know they won one game. I'm not sure what the rest of their record looks like, but it's going to be an interesting year.
Right. Have you heard any more about the investigation? What's going on? With the FBI.
They haven't come out with any further indictments at this time, but there's an awful lot of back chatter going on. Zion Williamson, the kid from Duke, name came up in a conversation that they had on tape, but there was no implication that any wrongdoing took place, but his name popped up. Bill Self, Kansas, has not decided what they're going to do as it relates to him as well. But I understand there's a lot of back chatter going on. There's a lot of people being interviewed and discussed. And once again, I think they're going to wait, and out of nowhere, they're going to come down and swoop down on some people and say, "Hey, here's what we've got," because they've been very quiet about this.
Yeah. Yeah. Very.
One of the things that I know that they don't trust the NCAA. They think if they vote, the NCAA will go and try to protect its own. So they tend to kind of keep it, close to the vest. So, but the investigation is still in progress. I've been reading and been hearing that there are some more indictments to come. Now, whether they're going to get head coaches or not, I don't know. I'm not hearing that, but an awful lot of assistants are being tagged in this investigation. But there are some big schools that's being discussed. So I just all I can say is stay tuned. I think there's more to come.
Well, be before we go any further, I meant to talk about it earlier, but went to the Florida Classic for the
Mm-hmm.
first time in quite a few years, man. And I used to go all the time, but it had been some years since I've gone to the Classic, and Super Ken Moore gave me tickets to go, and then because I was sitting there and I was like, the reason why I don't, Vince, I must be getting old because I'm like going out there and thinking about fighting the traffic and all that other stuff. But I was sitting there going, even after I knew I had the tickets, I was like, you know what? Man, I can just go right there and park at the church, at one of the churches that I, work with,
Mm-hmm.
and then just walk down. I'm like,
Well,
why is it that I'm sitting here, fighting with this parking thing when I can just go park right here at this church where where it's good parking. I don't have to worry about anything and just walk. It's
right.
like a 8-minute walk. So I was like, oh, okay. So I went, parked at the church, went in, and it was a really good game, Vince. It was a really good game.
Yeah.
Now, I
Yeah.
disagree with you. I disagree with you. I think Fam won the halftime, though. I really do. But
I don't think so, but we'll agree to disagree.
okay.
I saw it on tape. I wasn't there. Obviously, I was supposed to be there, but that didn't work out. But I had a chance to see it on tape. I think I should give a disclaimer that I'm a little biased toward the Wildcats.
Yeah, yeah,
Been
yeah, yeah.
been
Remember now, I
following
went to
them a lot.
school in Day. Listen, Vince, there's people to this day think I went to Cookman because I was on their campus every day,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and night. So
Well,
I'm biased toward Cookman as well.
yeah, I just think that based on what I've been hearing, and I've been watching them both on video for YouTube, there's a sound quality that's definitely different. There's a uniqueness to what they do, the quality of how they perform, the precision of what they perform. Fam is not what they used to be. I know all of my Rattler friends would disagree with that, but I think the reality of the matter is they have changed.
Right. Yeah.
Now, can they get it back?
I don't
There's a
I don't
possibility,
know.
but
I
it can't.
can't say. I can't say if they fully recovered from that incident that took place a few years ago. I know that really hurt them.
But
And
not
I
only
don't know
that,
if
though,
they're
they had some
fully
issues at
back.
school. Yeah, well, they had some academic issues where they had kids that were involved that were older than some of your normal participants, which kind of changed the culture a little bit. But if you look at the quality of what you see on the field, I think one of the things is setting the Wildcats apart that's causing everybody to want to have them. They give you a quality show at a high quality level. They give you what you want. They see the precision marching, dance steps, great sound, precision activity on the field. It's just tighter right now. A lot of, and I've had a chance to see, although I've seen the video, but I do have some history with them as well, what it's like to prepare. I think that's what fam was. I don't think that's what they are now.
Right. Right. But now I was a little disappointed in ESPN, Vince,
Hmm.
because I just knew the guy was going to make the top 10 on ESPN, and I didn't see it nowhere on ESPN. He went 99 yards, and that a
Hmm.
record that will never be broken. Because when I say he was on the 1 inch line,
Hmm.
because when the FAMU got down the ball, he downed it at like the 1 inch line. I mean, you couldn't have.
Hmm.
I mean, if it had been any closer, it would have been a touchback. So the guy from Cookman went 99 yards for a touchdown, and I just knew that it was going to be on the top 10 on ESPN, and they didn't show it. So I was like, wow, that was. I mean, how often do you see a 99-yard play anywhere?
You don't, yeah, you don't
High
see it too
school,
often, and it would
pee
be
wee
interesting to see that
football,
someone
college,
didn't send
pro.
that in.
He went 99 yards, and
It
then
was interesting someone didn't
yeah,
send
and
that
then
in.
and then what was cool about it? You sitting there watching it, and I'm like, when he started, they were like 5 yards behind it. When he got to the end zone, they was 10 yards behind him. It was gonna be like, man, fam, you need to get them some defensive back with some speed, because there was
Well,
separation.
yeah,
Yeah.
it may not have been that. It just this guy might have been just faster. No matter what they you got a road run out there. You can't catch a road run when you let him get the top speed. But that's quite an accomplishment in itself. A lot of excitement for the Classic, regardless of what their records are. That's always a great game, and once again, it didn't disappoint.
Yeah, and then now they announced that it was 52,000 people there. I have been to the
Hmm.
classic when it was 65,000. I have been to the classic when there has been
Yeah,
70,000 people. But even
right.
though they announced it was 52,000 people inside, it had, as you know, it was at least another 40,000 outside, because you know the
Well,
outside is like, you know what's going on outside as well. So
yeah, and that number to me is a relative number as it relates to stuff that they can account for. You're right, because there are people, the street vendors, they're all those people are attached to that event. Now they're talking about inside the stadium, maybe, and not all, and there's more than 52,000 people in that stadium too, that actually got into that game. But that's still a number. I do think that one of the things that affect that, because the crowd seems to be diminishing a little bit, that might just have to do with the two schools' records when they meet. What's
right,
on the line? I think if they're better winning records, but it's still an event. While there might have been 52 inside, as you said, I agree. Outside, there's another 40,000, and there was 100,000 later on that evening, out all over that city. So they made out pretty good for one day.
yeah, I can. When I was working with Orange County, I can remember. I don't forget which county commissioner it was, and I heard him say, "Thank you, Tampa, for not re-signing the contract with the Classic.
Mhm.
Thank you so very much, because it's now back over." That was some years ago, because you know it used to be over in Tampa. You
Yeah,
know.
the economic impact is amazing because Orlando has a huge amount of hotel beds, and they get filled. I mean, they're almost to capacity in some cases, or they have been in the past. The street vendors make. I mean, everybody wins. I mean, traffic's crazy, yes. and all of that. But everybody, gas stations win, the convenience stores, the grocery stores, the hotel. I mean, everybody wins when you have these people come into town because they're spending. They want it, and after a win or a loss, whatever their favorite team does, everybody's going out. They're going to, minimally, they're going out to eat. So the restaurants make a whole lot of money. If they won, they're going out to eat, and then they're going to the after hour activities that are around the city. So it's a huge economic event, and I'm kind of glad to see Orlando bring it back and get that exposure because if I had the Bucks, so as the Bucks are, but that's an event I'm glad to see that they're having it in Orlando.
Yeah. They also have this real neat car show that is really blown up.
Mm-hmm.
These guys come in
Mm-hmm.
from some everywhere with some these cars
Very
that
unique
they
looking
spent all
cars.
these, I mean, some serious money on. It's just like it's
Mm-hmm.
like crazy, and it's huge. I mean I
Right.
mean they can you imagine blocking off Highway 50? You know,
Yeah, well, I've seen it done before for that event or other events they've had it done. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The impact of what takes place here, while it has its inconveniences, it is truly a windfall for the city. I mean, because you got to pay to block this space off. You got to
yeah,
all that's economic that's revenue for the city, and and everybody kind of benefits. We get those of us who are not directly receiving economic benefit get entertainment value.
yeah.
So so everybody wins.
Yeah, I mean, when I worked for the county, I used to know the numbers because I would hear them talk in reference to the numbers that
Hmm.
that that the classic would bring in,
Right.
into the city, into the county, and I don't forget what the numbers are, but it's in the millions,
It's
the
huge.
revenue.
Well, one of the things too that I think the impact, the other vendors that like the car shows, and they've had other vendors that have had activity. Used to have a gospel thing on Sunday. I don't know if they did
Hmm.
that this year or not. That was all related to that, and those type of things. It used to be basketball. It used to be they have the FAMU Cookman football game. You used to have the
Right,
FAMU Cookman basketball, which
right,
I
right,
tried
right,
to at one point in time doing midnight basketball to bring that event back because I thought that would be a great way to kick off the season,
right.
and we were unable to make that happen. But just that idea, because you got all these people in town, good school spirit, a great time, a great way to channel that all into other activities. So it's huge. It's huge,
It,
and,
it
and quite honestly, it's a lot of
now
fun.
it's funny that you would say that because I'm like I said, I'm cleaning out stuff, right? And so I popped in one of my old cassette tapes, while I'm doing
Mm,
what I'm doing, and
right.
it's a cassette tapes of all. It's 90 minutes of some of the commercials I did when I was working in radio. So
Uh-huh.
and it's been years since I played it. And so what we used to do, we used to take a busload of people, the radio station as sponsors, over to the Classic in Tampa.
Right.
So this was back when it was over in Tampa. And part of what I used to do to put together a promo tape after the game I would go around and I would talk to the people and record them, in my tape, like who did this, who you think
Mm-hmm.
won the Battle of the Bands and blah. And I remember this girl said what you just said. She said, Fam won the Battle of the Bands, and we won the girls and the boys basketball game last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you know,
Oh, it
so
was yes, that was yeah, a big event.
yeah, yeah. So you're right because they used to play. They used to play the basketball game, but I don't
Right. We
think
used
they
to play
do that
basketball.
anymore.
No, they don't. They stopped doing it several years ago, and I'm not sure exactly why, but I met with several people in the attempt to revive that, but we ran into some obstacles and just could not pull it together and had anticipated going back trying to do it because I thought it was a great way to kick the season off. Or a great way to continue the weekend. You see some great football, and you come right back. Because you even had a basketball. We were thinking about having a basketball game before the football game. So like basketball on Friday night, football on Saturday, gospel on Sunday. Man, what a heck of a weekend you would have had. So that was the idea, but didn't quite come to fruition.
Okay, now let's. I'm sitting here watching the score of the OKC and Golden State game right there. It's almost halftime, which means that you got a
Mm-hmm.
whole nother half to go. So you really can't say, even though OKC is leading right now. But I wanted to ask you, and I know you probably know the answer to this, but did you know? Did you see what Draymond Green said to Kate? Katie, did you hear the audio? Did you know what he said to him and why he got
No, I
suspended?
didn't.
Huh?
No, no, I did not.
Oh, really? I can't say what he said, but he called
Okay.
him a B a couple of times, right?
Okay.
And he said and then he said something in reference to you not being here next year, right? So that's
Okay.
why he got suspended because he called him a B a few times, and he
Mm-hmm.
made reference to him not wanting to be, something like that, right? But this is the deal. Now you saw where they made up, they talking, blah 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 blah, right? So I heard on the radio today, and earlier today, Katie gave a great interview about the situation. They done squashed it, blah 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 blah, and it's behind them, right? So
Mm-hmm.
after he gave the interview on the radio, about 3 hours later on Instagram, this guy, just a regular fan, said Golden State needs to trade Draymond Green. KD went and he liked it. So now that's what's now that's like, oh really? So if this guy put on Instagram, you need to trade Draymond Green, and now KD go and put like on it. What I'm asking you, Vince, what does that tell you?
Well, I'm leery now of anything on social media because they've had incidences where people's accounts have been copied or forged, and stuff has come out on top of their account, saying that they said or did something when they actually didn't do it. So in
Okay,
this case, I would want to say, okay, I'm hoping that's not the case. If that is the case, that sends a real big warning shot over the bow that this could blow up somewhere down the road. Supposedly, KD has said that his incident with Draymond would not affect his free agency. To me personally, and I want to make sure this is everybody understands this is my opinion. The mere fact that he said that says that it does affect his decision. If he was not intending to go, I believe now he may be, which I don't understand why he wants to anyway. But nevertheless, this could be a reason for him to do that. Trading Draymond, is he a headache? Yeah, but he brings a lot to the table for what that team needs. Could they do it without him? Ooh, that would be tough to say. Probably so, but not the same way. Is it an issue that should be dealt with? I think not. But unfortunately, it's going to be. If KD actually did that, that was not, in my opinion, a smart move.
right,
If you put it to bed, put it to bed. Let it stay in bed, and
right,
handle your business behind closed doors. Don't put it out in the public. So now that's going to go in and get into the news cycle, whether it's true or not true. Now we got to listen to that. And I think I thought Steve Kerr made an interesting comment regarding his team's performance when they asked him about, well, what's happening. He said, this is the real NBA. We've been living
right,
in a bubble in the past. Now we hit the real NBA. So we got to work on it, and we got a lot of situations we got to fix it, and which is great. I mean, I don't think he's giving up, but he's had a great run. You
right.
knew this was coming
Oh, definitely, definitely,
sometime.
right,
And I hope it's not ego, but that's kind of what it sounds like. It sounds like it's me and us and I, and boy, when you put them together, it's always a problem. So that's a damaging metaphor, in my opinion. And I just hope that they can get back to playing basketball and try to get back on. They got to get healthy, of course. That's going to be key. They got to get back healthy, and they got to get their heads clear. They got to get out of their own minds and get back. So this will be a test to Steve Kerr and his coaching philosophy, his coaching staff, and how well they can get these kids back on track, or these grown men back on track to get back to playing good ball, or you are going to see some trades taking place.
Well, and actually, one of the things that he did say to him was, "We won without you." That's what Draymond, after he called it in the B, he
True.
said, "We won without you." You
That is
know,
true. That is true. You
so
also won with him too. So,
right, right,
I mean, what's your point?
right. Well, I
See,
guess in the
this
heat
is
of
the
the moment,
problem in sport when you don't stay to the sport. When you
right,
don't stay to team play, you take that eye out of team, and we talk about what we can do. If I brought you here and I won with you, it doesn't matter what I did without you. I brought you here and I won with you. That's just, to me, that's an antagonistic comment that would invoke antagonistic response, and then
wow,
that is not good for us as a team. It's not good. I mean, it just messes up the chemistry, and that was always been something that I had wondered. How do you all handle that? That being Golden State, and now here it is. It's front and center now. How are you going to get past it?
right,
Where will you be? Where will you be when it counts? We'll squabble now like families do. We'll disagree and fall out and don't speak like families do. But when it's punch time, crunch time, time to punch the clock, really punch the clock to get this team where it needs to be, can we come back together?
right, and that is the big question. You
That's
know,
going to be a big question. I mean, and you still got Boogie sitting in the wings. I mean, they've got so much to to be excited about, and stop squabbling over this little. And I'm saying this, and I'm not involved, so I look at it totally different than how they might feel about it personally. But I just think it's ridiculous. You got championship MVPs. What are you arguing about?
all right, you ready for a sprint?
Ready for a sprint?
All right, here we go. Ready for a sprint. Okay, what's the longest you ever hung out for a Black Friday sale?
7 hours.
Ooh, and what was your best deal you got at a best Friday? I mean, a Black Friday deal.
Television. I got a television for an unbelievable price.
When you were a kid, and I think I know the answer to this, did you ever get a pair of skates for Christmas?
Yes. Yeah. Couldn't
Did you
skate
ever?
though, but I got a
Huh?
pair. I couldn't skate, but I got a pair.
Yeah. No, the secret of that was keeping up with the key.
Yeah. Well, I had a problem with that too.
Yeah. Young people like, what are you talking about the key? But um, did you ever used to watch the Tarzan movies on Sunday?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
in Jacksonville, man, we wanted to go down to CBS and kill them because they was putting on Tarzan movie versus the NBA games. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, for the last 3 weeks, I've been asking you your favorite Western. I got four more
Hmm.
for you again. Roy
Okay.
Rogers, Maverick, The Lone Ranger, or Kung Fu.
Well, man, I got a tie. Roy Rogers and what was the other one? Roy.
It was the Maverick, The Lone Ranger, and Kung Fu.
Yeah, Lone Ranger and Roy Rogers. They tie for me. Those are my favorites.
Speaking of Christmas and the Westerns, did you ever get a pair of cowboy boots for Christmas?
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, wow, man. I can't tell you how many
No.
times I got cowboy boots trying to be a cowboy, you know.
Mm-mm. Wasn't happening in my house. I wanted to be a cowboy, but it wasn't happening.
In your coaching career, have you ever gotten a technical?
No.
Really?
No.
Wow.
Never got it. Not yet.
I've never gotten one either. So I guess my next question would be, so that means that you never got tossed from a game.
Never been tossed from a game.
Okay. All right. Well,
I've been threatened, but I've never been tossed.
okay. As a kid, did you like riding on the roller coaster?
No.
I did not. I hated it.
Mhm.
As a kid, watching The Wizard of Oz, did the Wicked Witch ever scare you?
No.
Really?
No.
She scared me. How old were you the first time you rode on a train?
um, 10, I think. I think I was either
10.
10 or 11.
Okay. Last question is, which pie do you prefer, apple or peach?
Neither.
Really?
If I got to pick one, peach.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I love me some apple pie and some ice cream, man. If you got some butter pecan ice cream and some apple pie, you got me.
I
Seriously,
I like that peach pie because it's on you. You don't get a chance to. I mean, quite honestly, I don't like either one of them. Potato pie, sweet potato pie is my favorite.
right?
Um, but apple pie, for some reason, I think it was just so popular that everybody was eating it. I didn't care for it. And I went to a peach pie, which I really didn't like that much either, but it was just different.
Yeah. Hey, quickly, let's talk about that Monday night game, Vince.
Hmm.
That was a good game. And then
It
the
was
funny
very
thing
good
is, they
football.
sitting there talking about, was there any defense? There was some defense. As a matter of fact, it was the defense that really changed the game in so many ways because of the plays the defense made.
Yeah, you had. I was just, in my opinion, just a good football game. I mean, you can question it whatever you like. It was just a good football game, high scoring football game. A lot of points scored, a lot of great performances. Two very good teams going to war. Bottom line, just a good game. It was
Yeah,
just an
yeah.
excellent game. Somebody had to win, somebody had to lose, but I was hoping Kansas City could. They fought their butts off. They really did. I love the game.
Yeah. Before we get into the NFL schedule, is it Beltran? He is retiring after 21 seasons.
Who's that?
Baseball player, Bel
Oh yeah,
Beltran.
yeah. He announced the other day that he was gonna say, that's always excited for these guys when they can make that decision to walk away uh, and give it up. I just wonder sometimes, how do you come to that conclusion? Is it aches and pains? Most athletes say when they get up in the morning, they don't want to go to practice anymore. They don't want to go condition, and they don't want to do the things they have to before they play the game. That's when it's time to go. Going to play the game is easy. It's all the
Right.
stuff in between playing the game that comes to that decision. And sometimes it's just they've reached that point where they don't want to do it anymore. I was talking to a young man the other day who was a former baseball player. Uh, Pretty decent career. He had played ball for a while. Just woke up one morning, didn't want to do it. He's a young guy. He just said, "I don't want to do it anymore. I want to do something different." And just turned just like that, just like you turn a key. Just turned it off, turned in all
What
his gear, told it, "Put him out," and went to do something different. So I'm always amazed and excited when they reach that point that
what's a
they can
football
retire.
player though? Yeah, earlier in the season, football player did
He
that.
quit at halftime.
Yeah.
Quit at halftime game. Just retired at half. I mean, and that happens. I mean, sometimes when you think about aches and pains, you think about all the stuff they have to go through to prepare. And sometimes you got an injury and you know it's not going to get any better. It's going to hamper your style of play. It's going to keep you from playing. Sometimes they just say, you know what, I'm not going. I'm not rehabbing. I'm not going through that to go back and play. And so they just give it up. I always like that they when they decide to walk away and they're not forced out. But sometimes that's just the way it goes.
Right. Yeah. So, well, tomorrow is Turkey Day, and
Yeah, kind of excited about what that possibility brings for football out there. You're seeing. Are you aware that when Tennessee was playing the other day, the defensive coordinator was rushed to the hospital?
no,
I have yet to hear, and I don't know if you have, what his condition was. Did you ever hear anything about that? And I'm
no,
right
I
here in this
didn't. I didn't
area.
hear anything
I
about that.
heard anything. I didn't hear any. I'm curious to know. And I've been checking the newspapers here, and I haven't heard anything. So I hope that's a situation that it may have been symptomatic of something, but enough to take him off the field and rush him to the hospital was a great concern. Marietta, the quarterback, he got hurt.
Right.
Alex, I see where Washington had signed Alex. Was Alex Smith? I think that quarterback broke his leg the same day, same
Right. 30,
day
30,
as
thirty-three years ago to the date.
the day for Joe Theismann. And Joe Theismann was in the audience.
Right.
Uh, that was a career-ending injury for him, and I hope that's not the case for that young man. But a lot of stuff going on out there in that sport with a lot of injuries. Cowboys, we're playing tomorrow against. Washington, and we got about 6 or 8 guys that are not going to be able to play for various reasons. Hamstrings, shoulders, whatever. That football, man, I love that game, but it takes a toll on you.
Well, Vince, the
Um,
body's not made to play football, man. You know that.
Now, well, there's been earlier studies, and I think you and I talked about this some time ago. This has been a while, and I followed this study where this guy took young athletes when they were very young, elementary, and even younger than that, and he had a test that kind of determined what sport was best, well, your body best suited to play. And there were a couple of kids that they wanted to be football players. He told them they should be basketball players because their body just wasn't fit for basketball or for football, and based on the test that they take. So, to your point, it is true, but some bodies are and some bodies are not. And I know there are 2 kids that in this study that he had told both of them to play different sports, and they wanted to stay to what they. One kid he told you shouldn't play football, you should play basketball, and one kid was reverse. He said you shouldn't play basketball, you should play football. So that particular kid went on and played football. The other kid who was playing basketball, who wanted to play football, that he told to go to basketball, played football and got hurt. Got hurt in
Mm,
the very same area that he told him because of this you could possibly be hurt. Had exactly that injury. So to
mm,
your point, the body is not made that way, and what they're starting to say, that's why they encourage kids at a early age to play multiple sports. First of all, for development, the ability to learn different skills and find out just exactly what sport that you really want. Because a lot of kids are very good at. Like I had a kid I knew who was a great baseball player, but didn't like it. He wanted to play basketball and football, but he was a baseball player. I mean, the kid really could play the game, had a natural ability, just didn't like the game.
right.
And it wasn't until he got cut at both football and basketball that he went on to play baseball and was a starter, and right now is in the minor leagues. So it's a mindset as much as it is a physicalness. This kid, I
Hmm.
want to be a football player so bad that they go ahead and they give it a shot out there. So, but a lot of injuries, and age. I mean, it's a violent sport, man. It's a lot of stuff, but it's fun to watch. I must admit, I enjoyed it when I played it.
What you think of the Panthers deciding to go for 2 versus kicking the field goal to tie the game up to try to go into overtime?
Ooh, man, it's always tough second guessing a coach because you never know what his mindset is or how does he feel about his team. Sometimes when you do this because you have confidence that I can get this done, or you're thinking down the line. He said he decided to go for 2, plain and simple. You want to win the game, I'm gonna win it right now. So he went for it. And I really think he had that was just a bad pass by
Hmm.
the quarterback because the guy was open. So had he caught the ball, he'd have been a genius. The mere fact that he missed it, they call it into question. I think it was a gutsy play. I think it was a gutsy play. Let's win it right now.
Right.
Let's go ahead and get these 2. And the way that play developed, I think you can say that he had the right idea. It just was a lack of execution, poor execution.
The Raiders won a game. The Raiders. Wow, they beat the Cardinals. Wow.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. Gruden is really trying to build a culture out there. I think he's going uphill on it, but he's really trying to establish a culture for next year. He's really trying to put in place some principles for next year, and I hope they will allow him the opportunity. I'd hate to see him not get a chance to put into play the things he want to put into play after one season. Uh, but you never know. I mean, hopefully they had that discussion going in. And a lot of people are going to say, well, he hadn't been around a long time. I don't think that's it. I think it's just a matter of putting your kind of players on the field, play your kind of game. His style of play, whatever that may be, he's got to get the right players to play that style. Sometimes you convert players and sometimes you can't. So they're just having a hard time out there.
All right.
But I'm glad they
Well,
won, though. I mean, hooray, hooray, hooray for them.
okay. Well, here on Facebook, my friend from elementary school, we went to school, junior high and high school, Gloria Mitchell. She says Happy Thanksgiving there. So,
Oh,
for
tell her we appreciate that. Happy
yeah,
Thanksgiving to her
yeah,
too. Eat a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Don't come and tell me I'm gonna save up. Eat it. Go ahead and eat. Go to the gym after.
Okay. Well, starting tomorrow, the Bears and the Lions. Who you got?
That could be quite interesting. I really think the Lions right now got a little momentum, so I'm gonna get out on the limb. I'm gonna go with the Lions on that tomorrow.
Oh man, that Bears defense is tough.
They've
The
been playing well.
Yeah, yeah. The Falcons and the Saints,
Saints.
the Giants and the Eagles.
Oh boy. Because of Fran, I'm gonna go with Philadelphia.
Yeah,
But I
Giants
think the Giants are
looking
gonna win.
looking good.
I think the Giants. I'm think the Giants are gonna win. But
Yeah. Okay. The Jaguars and the Bills.
I I'm concerned about the Jaguars. I really think the Bills got a shot at winning that.
This this right here should be a good game. The Seahawks and the Panthers.
I'm gonna give it edge. I think the Panthers are gonna come out with a different sense of urgency, but I still think the Seahawks will pull the game off.
Oh, okay. The Raiders and the Ravens.
Ravens.
49ers and the Buccaneers. That's probably evenly matched game right there.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about what's going on with the Buccaneers. They're going. They got that quarterback carousel going on down there. So Jameson had a good outing. They came back a good strong showing at the end there. Out of a sympathy choice, I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers, but I really don't feel like they can pull it off. But I'm gonna give them a vote of confidence.
The Browns and the Bengals.
That can be interesting right there to me. But I'm gonna get an edge to the Bengals.
The Patriots and the Jets. Yeah.
You know, you you want the Jets have been so underperforming to me all year long.
You can just say the Jets
This will
been
be a
so bad all year long.
yeah. Well, I was
You were
trying not
trying
to
to be
say that.
politically correct, but yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. But you're 100% correct. I would love to see. I'd like to see them win this game. So I'm gonna give them a vote of confidence, but I'm not sure they can pull it off. But I'm gonna go with the Jets.
Wow. Okay. Remind me not to go to with you to Vegas. Okay.
Hey,
Cardinals.
you never know. You never know. No, you never know. I believe in taking a chance. I'll take a chance.
I would love for the Jets to win this game now. Trust me.
I would love to too, and it's not totally impossible. But they hurt themselves more than somebody beats them. They beat themselves. And if they could ever get it together and get out there and get it done, I mean, because I think the Patriots are vulnerable personally. A lot of people say no, but it's just my opinion.
Right. The Cardinals and the Chargers.
Chargers,
The Steelers and Broncos.
Steelers.
Dolphins and the Colts. You know, they talking about luck, man. They talking about luck been playing some
Well,
good
Luck is
football.
won four in a row. They're on a roll right now. So I'll go with them. I think the Dolphins are not ready yet. They're still floundering down and they can't seem to put it together right now.
They got the quarterback starting.
Yeah, they got him coming back, but still, I just think he's coming back. And could he have a phenomenal day? Yeah, that's always a possibility. But I'm gonna go with the other team.
Okay. The Packers and the Vikings.
Well, that could be explosive. The Packers are a little disappointed right now for their last loss, and the Vikings are struggling. I'm thinking Green Bay gonna pull that one off.
Titans and Texans.
I'm worried about the Titans. I mean, if the quarterback didn't make it back, if he's not back, and you don't have your defensive coordinator there, I mean, those are some tangible. I'm gonna go with the Texans on that. I hate to go against the Titans, but because they've been surprising, but I think they got troubles.
Okay, and we definitely saved the best for last, and that is the
Absolutely.
Redskins and the Cowboys. How about them
I got to go.
Cowboys?
Well, that's what I called. I called several people the other day, and I asked. I just simply left a message, and And I said, I got one question. How about them Cowboys? Uh, I think they got a good chance to. There's a lot at stake. You get a division, all the things that you want are right there in front of you. Control your own destiny right now. So it's a big game for them. And obviously, I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm pulling for them. I am concerned about our level of injury. We got an awful lot of guys out, but it's a big game on the line. This is what you get paid for. Everybody, next man, strap up. Let's go get it. So I'm going with the Cowboys. I really like what they did the other day, though. I thought the offense looked more productive. They turned it loose. They let the quarterback run. They got Elliott up the ball. Of course, they were healthier. The offensive line was much healthier than it has been. The defense was not as healthy. So maybe we can just outscore them and win. But I think we got a real good chance.
Okay. Well, that covers. I think that's week. I think that's week 11, isn't it?
Either 11 or 12,
Yeah.
one of the two.
Week 12. Week 12.
Yeah.
Week
Lot,
12.
lot,
Yeah.
lot of basketball out there. Not only NBA, but a lot of college ball. We were talking earlier about Duke having gotten knocked off tonight. You remember Cable that was there at Pittsburgh? I mean, that was at Duke with K. Went on to Pittsburgh. He pulled off a very good win today. They beat St. Louis. Close game by 2 points. Florida lost to Oklahoma by 5, which I thought was kind of interesting. Mid Tennessee, up in my area, was playing Virginia, and Virginia was winning when I last looked at the score. I also noticed that Louisville played, and you were talking about how they played Tennessee, and Tennessee won that game by 11 points. Very good showing for them. Florida A&M played South Florida in basketball. They lost by 10, 59-69. And Donnie Jones used to be at UCF. Left there and went to Wichita State, and now at Dayton, they pulled off a big win today. They beat Butler 69-64.
Oh wow. Oh, okay.
Some good basketball. It was a game I wanted to mention. And Marquette played Kansas, and it started out to be a really close game, but Kansas went ahead and pulled that off to get the ranked number 2. They 77-68. There was one. Oh yeah, Virginia. Virginia beat Middle Tennessee 74-52. So we're getting into now. This is that a lot of this is there's a tournament down in Fort Myers. There's 2 tournaments over down in the Bahamas that's going on. So it's a lot of basketball right now. It's early. You're seeing some really good basketball out there. I'm kind of excited myself to see Carolina right now. We're 5-0. Good, good start. Starting to get inching our way toward the meat of the season when we really crank this thing up. So, I'm a big basketball fan, and I started off, watching the NBA, but now the college ball is all, man. And I'm really caught up in that college basketball. I love the excitement and enthusiasm those guys seem to have. And I guess the crowd, the whole makeup, that whole collegiate atmosphere, man. I get so excited to just watch game after game after game after game. I was sitting here the other day, and I must have watched 6 or 7 basketball games just in a row. And I don't know nobody. I just enjoy watching the game. So this is a great time. Football, NBA ball, basketball going on. I'm here in Tennessee. The Predators were number 1 in the hockey league the other day. I don't know where they are now, so I'm kind of starting to kind of peep my eye a little bit at hockey. I can't believe that, but it's all around me. You can't help it. Everywhere I go, nobody's talking about basketball or football. They talk about hockey. And for me, being an old traditional sports guy, it's a struggle. But I'm getting there. I'm starting to know a couple of names of a couple of hockey players. Actually, now I hear hockey team names, I actually know what they're talking about. But before, I had no idea what
Well,
so this is an exciting time for sport.
yeah, yeah. In hockey, the National Hockey League, their championship trophy is the best trophy out of all the sports. They have the best trophy. Their trophy is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, by the way, did you know that Duke loss was their first loss in what is that
Yes. Over there at the what's the
Maui?
name of that? Yeah, the
Maui.
Maui tournament.
Yeah, yeah,
Did,
yeah,
did you
yeah.
also did you also see? You remember the conversation that they were having about the basketball league? What do they call it? The G League Pro Path League,
Right,
where these kids who don't go to college get a chance.
right,
Well,
right.
their name Rod Strickland is hired to run the G League Pro Path program, which I think
Now
that's
it's
a
funny
good.
because I saw his name and I saw on the Tinker that but I didn't know what they were talking about. But yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they hired him to run that, which I think is a great start. Good former player, knows the game really well. You see, Jr. wants to be traded
Yeah, yeah.
uh, from Cavaliers. Also, the young man Fultz over there at from Philadelphia has another injury, has a shoulder injury. There's some conversation that he has requested to be traded. He said that's not true. He has no intentions of leaving. So it's a lot going on. The young man from Minnesota that went to Jimmy Jimmy Butler's outing at in New York. New York beat the Celtics tonight. The Knicks beat the Celtics tonight. So I guess his impact is he's having an impact, which I wasn't sure a positive impact at that. Also noticed that Memphis here is playing some very good ball. This guy Jarrettson Jr. is
Hmm.
having a phenomenal rookie season. So there's a lot of excitement out there. Now here's another situation that you may not be aware of. Now we got problems with the Washington Wizards.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
got
yeah, yeah,
Wall
yeah, yeah.
there,
I wanted to talk about that.
man.
They want to break that whole
Man, it's
team
poison.
up.
What they gonna?
everybody's
They
everybody's on the trading
well, you
block.
got poison. You got that poison in there. So this is the best thing. They're not winning that when they're doing pretty well, but they're on their way to imploding. So you might as well go ahead and break them up now. You got Wall, the coach. That's a bad. Maybe the coach is losing the locker room. Maybe they're losing respect. Maybe not performing at the level they want to perform at. Is beginning to wear them on. So and Wall said something the other day I thought was interesting. He showed his maturity. He said, "Look, and I show up every day. I hear the conversation. I'm gonna play the best can, do the best I can to help the team win, and I'll live whatever decision that they make."
There
And
you go.
paraphrase. So I think
Right,
that's all you can do, you
right,
know. But now him cursing at the coach, not good. And there's some conversation out there too. I don't know if you heard about the conversation about Luke Walton out there with the
right,
Lakers. If
right,
they weren't winning right now, I do believe that conversation would resurface as to them not having him as a coach. But because they're having a little bit of success, I think that's going to go away. Supposedly he and me had a conversation, and he says it wasn't about him not having his job; it was more or less about them not playing defense. But to me personally, and I want to make sure I say this, to me personally, that's not a good sign. That is not a good sign. So now, right now that they're winning, now I'm interested to see where Carmelo Anthony ends up at. I haven't heard a destination for him yet. Also, uh, there's a rumor that Joakim Noah could possibly be coming to Memphis. I think it is because he was out of the league as well. They just no longer you needed services anymore, and
well,
so
well, his knees are bad, aren't? Aren't his knees bad?
yeah, but he could contribute on it because Mark Gasol needs a Jarrett's not a five. Jarrett Jackson is really a four. But he's a big kid though. But I think Noah could be he could come in and give a few minutes, some backup. He could give starter minutes, but he could definitely give some backup minutes. And I thought he should be playing in the league. He's skilled enough to still be playing, so that would be another opportunity for him going to a team that's playing reasonably well. So as always, an awful lot going on out there in that NBA. I mean, it just continues to be one thing after another. Of course, Cleveland, the Lakers went back to Cleveland and they won the game by 2 points tonight. And that's going to be the talk of town now. But oh well, they won. That's all I can say.
Oh, all right. Well, you can also say hi to Vince Taylor. He joined us. He's from Jacksonville. I used to
All
I
right.
used to I used to chase his sister back in the day, back when we were in high school. I used to chase his sister.
Question is, did you catch her? Okay. The answer is we weren't going to talk about that. That's
Yeah,
the answer to
two cute sisters, man. Yeah. He's a Shotokan guy.
that.
Man. But anyway, hey Vince, thanks for joining us. Yeah. But there's a lot going on, like you said. Looking forward to tomorrow's game, but also again for those out there, we want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and for those that are having the holiday blues, we're sending a cheer out for you.
Yes.
Always
Yes.
sending prayers, and for those that's dealing with the loss of a loved one. Also, I have a friend, a very close friend that I've been knowing for a long time. Absolutely beautiful spirit, beautiful lady, inside and out. She's dealing with breast cancer right now. Her name is Frances, and she's having surgery on Monday. So,
Mm.
Frances, I love you. Got prayers going out for you. You know, you're gonna be okay, and you're gonna beat this thing. So she said her tests are coming back good. Her spirits are
That's
good.
good.
So you just keep it
Good.
in the know.
Prayer.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I want to encourage everyone out there to be thankful for what you have, not for what you want, not for what you think you should have had. Be thankful for what you have, and take the time too to tell someone how much what they mean to you. You'd be amazed what that would do for them. Sometimes it's nice to let people know what you think of them, and whether it's a teacher, a neighbor, co-worker, or whatever. Just take the minute to let them know that you value them, that you value them being in your life, and in itself, that be a way of giving thanks for what God has provided for you. And sometimes it's not the thing He's provided; it's the person He's provided. So
Right.
in all of that, we thank God. I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. It has been my philosophy and my motto: eat as much as you can and enjoy
Yes, indeed. And
it.
there's lots of stories to share, lots of things to talk about.
Oh,
And I had a chance to
amen.
talk to two sisters who they was trying to decide on what they were going to do for Thanksgiving, and I shared a little story about the fact that they still have their mother and their grandmother, and I said,
Amen.
take advantage of that because they're young. You know, they're like 21 and 19 years old, 18 or something like that, and I tried to let them know that how a lot of times you take things for granted, and I can't sit at the table at Thanksgiving with the family that I knew because my mother, my grandmother, and my aunt are no longer here. So that's why I try
Mhm.
to say, don't take things for granted, especially when you're young. You think these moments are going to last forever. When you have the time and opportunity, please spend time with people that love you. Spend time with your mother, people who are considered your family, because you don't understand how precious those moments are. You really don't until you're not able to have them anymore. And so I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I would give anything to be able to go home and sit down at the table with my grandmother and my aunt and my mom and my family because it's just not possible anymore because they're no longer here.
That is the reality of life, and it's what makes life interesting when we take full advantage of life. And that is to celebrate it every day, every minute with those that you care about, and take the time to share some of that brightness and love with others who need it sometime even more than what you might know.
Right. And for something just as simple as I was saying on my show the other day, you know, because my father was a great cook. And I just always remembered when I did go over there to see him on Thanksgiving when he was able to cook. My father was a great cook. Well, all of my grandmother's children could cook. They all can cook, all of them. And my grandfather, my father made really good cornbread, you know, and he would always. It was just funny because he would say, "You want me to, you know, make you a plate," and which was kind of unusual that he would actually make me a plate because I was so used to my grandmother doing it. Then when she passed, you walk in and he would kind of say it in a funny way, you know, the way a man would say to his son, "You want me to make you a plate," you know.
Right,
And so, you know,
right.
he would, but he would always wrap the cornbread in this towel to put it in the microwave, and he would bring me my plate, and I said, "Dad, you got any hot sauce?" "Yeah, son, I got some hot sauce. But it's those little moments like that that you go like, wow,
Yeah.
that stays with you for the rest of your life. And whether or not it's your aunt chili, whether or not it's your mom pound cake. But my mother and I had this thing where ever since I was a little kid, I loved her potato salad. Nobody made potato salad like her. And so as
Mm.
you get older, she stopped making the potato salad. But she knew when I came home, somehow or another on Sunday, there was potato salad because she knew how much I loved her potato salad. So that it's little things like that that I'd never be able to
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
because she made this giblet gravy. I would never have a giblet gravy again. No one made it like her. No one made the potato salad like her, and so on and so forth. My aunt
Yeah.
Chili was special, and those little things like that. So I say,
You
if you
always
get a chance and opportunity, take advantage of it and understand your blessings.
you have that. I mean, I think that's what makes it special because I have sounds that I remember. I have smells that bring back the same thing that you're talking about of certain things that my mother would prepare on that day. And she always wanted us to sit at the table together. That's the only day throughout the year that she required us to all sit at the table and give thanks. And I guess I'm so accustomed to that. That's what I look forward to today, even if I'm
Right.
just by myself. I want to sit to that table and give thanks. So, but once again, it's a joyous day. Enjoy it. Be
Please
mindful of
do.
those who what you have, but enjoy it and just give thanks and thank those who you need to thank. You know who they are. Give them let them know you're thinking of them and how much you appreciate them.
All right. With that being said, Vince, have
Eat
a
a lot.
happy, yeah, eat a lot, and Vince, you have yourself a happy Thanksgiving, and
You
looking
do the
forward
same. Give
to,
my best friend.
and looking forward to our conversation next week, and because you got a big game coming up, right? You got a big game coming up, right? Basketball.
Well, this weekend we'll have two, and then next two we have another big game. So yeah, they're all getting to be big now. We're just so I mean, it's very, very exciting. I look forward to reporting to you how we perform.
Okay. All right. With that being said, we both want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Blessings to everyone. Safe travel to everyone. And for those that are going through that, whatever's going on up there in the Northeast with that cold coming in, make sure that you
Yeah,
bundle up. But I don't have to tell you. You guys
indeed.
live there. You know what you need to do. And be careful on the road with
You
the ice and
know
all
what
that,
to
because that's a
do.
whole nother world.
Amen.
Yes. So with
That's a
that being
different
said,
world.
I'm
Trust me.
Charles Morris. It's the original Coach Carter. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, people.
All right, see you.